Joe Biden, who of course ran against John McCain back in the 2008 campaign. Joining us now from Austin is Mica Mosbacher, a personal friend of Senator McCain's. Mica, thank you very much for joining us. When you look at what is happening down in Arizona and you see these Democrats standing up there paying tribute to their friend John McCain, who was of course a Republican, doesn't it make you hanker for those days when perhaps America could be a little bit more civil?
Absolutely. Those were the days back in the 80s when people reached across the aisle and worked together. You know, we're stronger together than our differences. But it's such an emotional day for me. I had such a great privilege of knowing John McCain as a friend. And I was supposed to be at the funeral today, and due to travel woes, I was unable to get in. But John McCain spoke at my husband's funeral. Bob was Secretary of Commerce and the General Chair of the McCain campaign in 2008. And George W. Bush spoke at Bob's funeral as well. And so those are some parallels that make my heart go out to Cindy and Megan and the McCain family, because I've walked that path. And I know only too well what it's like to lose the love in light of your life. And I think Joe Biden's tribute today was beautiful, heartfelt, and really embodied those qualities of John McCain, not only a patriot, but a man who had courage of conviction, who could be tough in the ring, tough on his adversaries, but then joke with them a few hours later. So he has left a marvelous legacy for those, and I think he's really part of the greatest generation in this country.
Go ahead, Christian.
No, I was just going to say, it sort of strikes me watching this and watching Joe Biden from over here and you know, bringing the audience to laughter, that the president could have diffused some of this. I mean, if he'd have put out the statement that he was going to put out that had been prepared for him, and he'd have spoken warmly of someone who he clearly had his differences with, yes, some people, Mica, would have said, well, that's hypocritical because he didn't really like him, but also it would have taken some of the fire out of it.
Well, and I see your point, and it's unfortunate how this relationship between these two great men, both whom I admire greatly, had disintegrated. But I think it's time today to honor John McCain by setting aside our political differences and coming together and celebrating the core values of what makes America great. And one of my favorite John McCain quotes is, "Americans never quit, we never surrender. We never hide from history, we make history." And I think Senator John McCain will go down in history as a remarkable patriot and hero, and who embodies our country's principles.
Mica, you knew the family well. Where did he get that courage and that strength from? I know that you've said in the past that it came from his mum.
It came from Roberta McCain, who in her 90s, I'll never forget, my husband Bob and I took her sailing in Newport Beach. And Bob was worried that maybe she didn't have her sea legs, and he kept trying to help her anytime she moved around, and she brushed him off and said, "I'm not a helpless old woman." So she had this fierce spirit of independence. She eloped into Tijuana at an early age, and she hauled children all over the country. John said he grew up without roots. So Roberta really is the key to that McCain spirit, of which Meghan McCain embodies as well.
Okay, Mica Mosbacher, thank you so much for joining us and for those stories.